Hey, what's up? Jayson Gaddis here, back with another episode of the Smart Couple Podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about divorce, the D word. It's amazing that divorce is so common and pretty accepted, and yet massive social stigma around divorce, right? There's a lot of stigma still, and a lot of shame involved in if you get a divorce, because it's still seen as a failure if you get a divorce. Now, I don't have a big charge around divorce one way or the other. I like to challenge people, I'll say this, that bail too early or that bail and blame their partner. That's, I think, really common. People are married a year and then they bail. That's just when the goods start happening, is a year into it, a year after the honeymoon phase wears off, let's say, and shit gets really real. That's when you are pushed to see what you're made of. And most people are made of very little when it comes to long-term partnership. Not because it's your fault, but because you didn't learn how to do relationship. You never learned how to deal with your own shit that the other person is triggering, right? So I want to talk about the two main reasons people get divorced. Two main reasons. And they're valid. Both are valid. Okay? Not right or wrong, just valid. And they're both ends of the spectrum. So the first reason is that people get a divorce is when you outgrow your partner and it's time to move on. So this is for the person who's married to a bump on a log, who won't do shit and who won't actually engage or step up or go to therapy or read a book or do anything on their own, because in their eyes, they're in the fixed mindset and they think, I don't have to work on this. It should just be easy. It should just be, why is my partner such a pain in the ass? And that person should be left behind because they won't deal. And when they get left behind, they get put in some more pain, hopefully, to penetrate their denial. And sometimes it takes someone leaving you to pull your head out of your ass, right? I know for me, it took me 7 failed relationships, 7, to finally look in the mirror. I wasn't willing to do it until the 7th failure. And some people are just like me. They're just that dense. And again, not right or wrong, not better or worse. It's just what is. Some of us are dense. And pain is one of the best penetrators of defensiveness and denial. Pain. So when you get your ass left on the street and your partner leaves you because they are asking you to grow, asking you to get involved, asking you to work on it, trying to work it out, you're going to get left behind. And that's helpful for you because you'll wake up out of your trance, hopefully. So for you, if you left a person like that, good job. I applaud your decision to get a divorce, especially if you busted your ass and you worked really hard for a couple of years to try to make it work. And you said, let's go to therapy, let's go to counseling, let's read this book, let's journal, let's look in each other's eyes and talk about the problems. Let's stop avoiding, let's stop denying, let's face our stuff because I love you, I care about you, let's do this. If the other person just gave resistance and defensiveness or tried for a little while and then only to fall back in their old BS behaviors, or gave lip service and said, yeah, sounds good, and then they didn't actually follow it through with actions, nice for leaving, for respecting yourself enough to leave that relationship. Okay, that's the first valid reason that you get a divorce. And I just support that, especially if it's after a lot of work. Now, this doesn't mean a lot of you could convince yourselves, well, yeah, that was me because my partner was an asshole. No, we're not talking about that. We're only talking about the partner who was not willing to grow and work on the relationship in an ongoing, consistent manner. That person should be left behind. Definitely. Who shouldn't be left behind is a person who's like willing to work on it and trying to face their stuff. That person is doing their best to try to work on themselves and work on it with you, and their actions match their words, and they literally put in a couple of years of effort. That person, we're not talking about that person, okay? We're just talking about the person who is stuck and refuses to budge, all right? Or gives lip service and still doesn't do dick, all right? That's the person. Excuse me. All right, let's talk about the second valid reason people get divorced. And this is, it's valid again. It's not right or wrong. And this is a lot of people, which is they don't know how to work with their own stuff when it comes to their partner triggering them. So this could be you. If your partner annoys you, if your partner has had an affair on you, if your partner has challenged you and what you care about in life by being themselves, by being neurotic and kind of a pain in the ass, you don't know how to deal with them is the story, but really that means you don't know how to deal with all your upset emotions, feelings, and experiences when they behave that way. And you're stuck. Okay, you will typically fire that person eventually if you can't find your way. And you actually might go to therapy, you might try some counseling or coaching, you might try to search the internet for tools and resources, but you still are stuck. You can't quite see past your limitations. You will eventually get burnt out and you will leave that person or they will leave you, right? So if you can't work your shit out with your partner, you get a divorce. And I think that's this valid reason is sad because to me, any situation is workable. I don't care what it is. If you've been cheated on 5 times or you found them with your best friend or it just doesn't matter, the challenge. It can be worked with if you have the right tools. And now that doesn't mean you have to stay together, but it means that you won't carry your bullshit to the next relationship and your patterns. It means you'll work on your pattern of why you're getting upset and so triggered, and you'll clear it, and you'll be like, have some sort of resolution. You will learn a valuable lesson, and you'll be like, wow, that was amazing. And you'll thank and appreciate your partner for challenging you to grow. Okay. And the only way you can do this is with the growth mindset, right? The growth development mindset. Carol Dweck talks about this in her book, The Key Psychology. I think it's The New Psychology of Success. She studies successful people across, any genre, and it's people that have a growth development mindset. So if you try to grow and develop yourself and you can't get past your own triggers, you'll eventually get burnt out and you'll fire them or your partner will leave you, right? I will repeat myself that situation is workable. You can still work with it. And you may as well work with it because you will repeat some version of it if you don't. So, okay, you got relief. Nice job. You got a divorce and now you have some relief. Well, eventually you're going to not want to be alone again, as complicated as relationships are, and you'll find yourself with someone who yet again triggers you and upsets you. Well, now what? Now what are you going to do? Are you going to keep blaming them and asking them to change? Or are you going to look in the mirror and deal with yourself? And we're not talking about self-blame either. We're not talking about, oh, I'm such a piece of shit, I can't do a relationship. No, you got to learn how to get over that even and learn how to go, okay, well, I suck at relationship. Well, I'm going to learn. I'm a living example of someone who sucked at relationship and I set to work, right? And I figured it out. And I'm still learning a ton because I love to learn and I love to learn about myself. If that's not you, relationship is something I don't recommend long-term. You might want to just move from relationship to relationship, be single for a while, date for a few months, and break up, and then eventually go find another person. That is actually okay. I don't think you're ultimately going to be satisfied because it seems to me that we're pack animals and we're designed and built to be relational with other people over the long haul. We're designed to grow old together, even though we're also wired for threat. We're also wired to connect. So jumping around a lot. I mean, I tried that, and for me, the longing in my heart was to be met and to be seen and have a companion on the journey that had my back, and then I had their back. But little did I know at the time that would require a tremendous amount of learning and effort on my part so that I could do this thing called marriage, right? Okay, so it's valid if you can't work your stuff out and you get a divorce, and your issues will follow you like a tail dragging behind you. So I recommend finding the best help, the very best guide and community to help you burn through your issue and get the lesson that is getting triggered in you. Because there's always going to be a lesson to work out in your relationship. There's always going to be something challenging. And if you just keep running away from challenges, you're going to be running in a circle. Right? You've probably found this from your own experience, yeah? So notice those two valid reasons people get a divorce and where you fall if you're kind of on the edge of one or if you've had one. There's not, again, a right or wrong moral judgment here. It's let's think about this conversation intelligently. And if you're with someone who simply will not grow and you've busted your ass to get them to grow, to come along with you, and you've tried with guidance and with exceptional help and great technique, and they still don't budge, move on, right? To someone who is deserving and will treat you with mutual love and respect and will also grow alongside you, because the only way to succeed over time is to grow. Okay, that's number one. Number two is you will get a divorce if you can't work your shit out and you're too triggered by your partner, too upset, too uncomfortable, and too activated and aroused in your nervous system. You will seek relief like the limited human being that you are, and you'll get rid of them and go get some relief and be alone for a little while. And then you will find a new relationship and you'll repeat some version of this. Your call. So, yeah. I'm, of course, encouraging you to roll up your sleeves and look in the mirror, because that's the only way you're going to get the relationship you want. And you can do it. Any human being can learn how to do intimacy and relationship and Now, there might be some exceptions to that, like someone who is pretty severe on the autistic spectrum or Asperger's spectrum, or someone who can't do empathy very well. It's going to be harder, but if they're into growth, they can learn it. Empathy can be learned. Connection can be learned. Validating someone's feelings, that can be learned. Listening effectively to someone, that can be learned. Working out conflict, that can be learned. Communicating in a way that has your partner open up instead of close down, that can be learned. All of this can be learned. You just need to apply yourself. Okay. So know that if you're going to get a divorce, you're either doing it for the reason of you're outgrowing your partner, and you're not going to make them wrong in the process. You're just going to bless them and be like, okay, you won't come. I'm gonna keep growing. I'm gonna keep flapping my wings and being me, right? Or you're gonna be so activated by your nervous system that you will seek relief and you'll leave, or they will leave you because they're seeking relief from you and the way you act. And all of that is helpful for you so that you can learn to be in enough pain to wake up out of the trance and learn this relationship stuff. So divorce or no divorce, you may as well learn long-term relationship and all the skills required that go into this. And that's why you're listening to this podcast, because you're seeking tools, you're seeking resolution, you're seeking how to deal with yourself and how to deal with your challenging partner, right? And that's what I'm here to do. That's what this podcast is about. That's why I am committed. My mission in life is to help people learn what they didn't learn in school. This relationship, intimacy stuff after the honeymoon phase, because anyone can do the honeymoon phase and succeed at that. Very few people can keep succeeding year in and year out. and fostering the kind of indestructible partnership that I am about and that I teach. So have fun learning. Because to me, it's it's hilarious how challenging it is sometimes, and how childish we act sometimes. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's okay. It's all part of this messy soup called marriage or long-term partnership. All right. I hope this has been helpful here on the Smart Couple podcast, and we will rock it out another time soon. Take care.